Finally, we're doing it. A song that I've been wanting to cover since we launched this podcast. This is the story behind Bryan Adams and Christmas Time.
Behind the Christmas Hits with Drew Savage.
Yes, this is a song I have wanted to do for a long time because I was such a huge fan of it growing up. I'm an 80s kid, and a lot of the biggest singers at that time were recording Christmas music. Wham!, Bruce Springsteen, Madonna, Whitney Houston, U2, Bon Jovi, Eurythmics, Corey Hart, and yes, of course, Bryan Adams. I honestly don't think there's another time period since the birth of rock and roll where more artists at the peak of their careers were recording Christmas music. Now, before we get to the story, I do want to give you a peek behind the curtain. And honestly, this episode is going to be different from any other episode that we've done because this is going to be more behind the curtain stuff than actual stories about the song. When I started this podcast in 2020, I didn't know a lot about the origins of any of these songs. I just knew that I loved the songs. So I figured along the way, during the research phase, there would be songs that just didn't have much of a story behind them. And to be honest, I am surprised at how much we have learned. 6 full seasons worth of stories. During our very first season, 5 years ago, yes, I have been wanting to do this for a while, I invited Jim Vallance to come on the pod. Jim co-wrote so much of what Bryan recorded in the 80s, including Christmas Time. I'll share with you the email that Jim sent me. He wrote, "Hey, Drew, thanks so much for your note. When we wrote that song back in the summer of 85, we couldn't have imagined that it would still be getting airplay all these years later, or that an on-air host would deem it worthy of a segment. I'm just not sure the backstory is all that interesting." First of all, Jim Vallance, total gentleman. We exchanged a couple of more notes, and hey, it's all good. It was bound to happen with one of these songs. So the story behind Christmas Time, at least from Jim Vallance's perspective, is there isn't much of a story. But recently I did have the opportunity to talk to Bryan about his most recent album, Roll with the Punches, his first studio album for the record label that he launched, Bad Records. We mainly talked about the album and his current tour, but we did have a minute left at the end of our scheduled time, so I asked him about his now 40-year-old Christmas hit.
Okay, so that song was never officially released. It was a song I recorded for my fans, and we made a bunch of 45s in green vinyl. If you can still find them, they're out there somewhere.
I had one, yeah.
So those were only given to fans. And when the internet came along, then the record company realized I had that. And I had another song called Reggae Christmas, and they put them out on to the internet, but there was never any sort of official, oh, here's a Christmas song, or there's a Christmas record, or anything like that. But it we distributed it as a single or anything like that. And along with a beautiful sentiment, you know, it's about peace.
Christmas Time was licensed to numerous compilation Christmas CDs in the 90s and early 2000s and is played on radio stations around the world every single year. So while it was never officially released, in the minds of most of us, it's very much a hit. It certainly made an impression on Rob Thomas.
I mean, I'm a child of the 80s. You know, I was in high school in the 80s. It was that, to me, is like up there with Jingle Bells. You know what I mean? Like that, you know, the 80s was a time of it was a furtive period for a lot of artists making really good Christmas music. You know, the Waitresses and Cyndi Lauper and Band-Aid. There's a lot of great original Christmas songs coming out. And that to me is like, that was like the first one I knew that no matter what, I was going to do that song. And when I did it, and Ingrid Michaelson and I finally finished recording it, I actually sent it to Bryan Adams and got his seal of approval on it.
I asked Bryan what it was like for him to hear Rob Thomas do his song.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's nice when people do that. It's like the ultimate compliment for a songwriter. And the song has had a good life. I actually made a video for it about 4 years ago, which is on the internet now. And yeah, so I mean, I've embraced it more as time has gone on, and I've recorded some other stuff as well. But I haven't recorded that many Christmas songs.
Bryan Adams has never done a full Christmas album, but his Christmas music catalog is uniquely his. Outside of Run Run Rudolph, all of his Christmas recordings are original songs. Reggae Christmas, Merry Christmas, Must Be Santa, Joe and Mary, and, of course, Christmas Time. As Bryan said, the songs had a pretty good life, especially considering it was never officially released. I'm Drew Savage. Thank you so much for listening. You can find me on Instagram at Drew Savage on air. If this is the very first episode of Behind the Christmas Hits you've ever listened to, well, first of all, thank you. And let me recommend a couple of other episodes for you to check out, including our very first episode ever on the song Santa Baby. It was co-written by Phil Springer, who is just about the last living songwriter from that golden age of Christmas music. As we're recording this, Phil is 99 years old, and when I chatted with him, he was smart and quick as a whip. You can also find conversations with everyone from Michael Bublé to Brenda Lee and Darlene Love, Trans-Siberian Orchestra's Al Pitrelli, and 98 Degrees. So many episodes, so many stories. If you enjoyed this one, please leave us a rating and review. It does help other people find the podcast. And don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss a story behind the Christmas hits.